everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and this, I think, is going to be the start of my diary entry for the weeks of April 13th through the 26th. I think that's right. Today is Tuesday, April 15th. So as you can see, I am at a location. We are on a small vacation at the Disneyland Hotel. We are staying in the DVC Towers because we are Disney Vacation Club members, and so my mom's birthday is actually on the 21st of April. So we decided to take a small mini vacation here, and so yeah, we will be staying at this hotel for about 3 nights, and we'll be in the park for 4 days, including today. It is later in the afternoon. It's like 3:30, 4 o'clock, and we just got to the hotel, and I am filming on a new camera, so I'm also wanting to test out the camera and see what that's like. This has a front-facing camera as well, and so I thought it might be a lot easier for me to do out and about vlogging. But yeah, I wanted to start here at our room because if you've seen any of my other Disney Vacation Club videos from, well, I would say the previous Disneyland vacation video that I posted, we were staying here as well, but the room decorations were different. And so the room that we were staying in before was Sleeping Beauty themed. As you can see behind me, this room is themed to Princess and the Frog. I will say that I am not familiar with The Princess and the Frog, other than seeing the images and things. I haven't actually watched the movie yet. But I believe, if I remember correctly, they told us there are only 2 themes in this hotel. And one is Princess and the Frog, and the other is Sleeping Beauty. And so we got Princess and the Frog this time, and so definitely want to show you around the room. The room layout is exactly the same as the room that we had stayed in before, but I'll give you a little bit of a tour, and then we're going to head out for some dim sum at Din Tai Fung. So hold on a second, I'll turn you around, and let's take a view of this room. Okay, so starting with the artwork that's right behind me, it's a beautiful picture that I presume includes scenes from Princess and the Frog. Then if we turn this way, this is our view from our room. We are actually on the very top floor of the hotel this time. And so you can see the Tower of Terror. I call it the Tower of Terror still. Guardians something. To me, it'll always be the Tower of Terror, but in any case, I don't ride that ride. And so, but you can see that attraction over there with the Grand Californian Hotel. And so I think that's Cars Land over there if you look real close. But yeah, we are staying on the very top floor. So this is the room view of our room. And then if we turn this way, you can see there is more artwork. Let me see if I can get some of that glare off. More artwork from the Princess and the Frog. And you can kind of see that the patterning over here on the panel also has Princess and the Frog theming. Because we are Disney Vacation Club members, we do get a little bit of a kitchenette. So there is a microwave, there is a Keurig, and a refrigerator, but we also get free Joffrey's and English breakfast and green tea. And then above the pull-down bed, there is more artwork. Gorgeous piece right there. And so that is our room. Very nice and pretty spacious. Let me take you into the bathroom area now, if we turn this way. That's the door, and then you can see we've got this gorgeous like mural, just some flowers, And then this is our shower stall with not H2O products. We have some hand wash and stuff. There's me. Hello. And then there is another piece of art here in the throne room. Okay, so one thing that I did notice about this new camera is that it doesn't like connect the audio in between the clips. So I'm probably gonna have to learn how to like use this camera and make sure that I'm not talking in long clips. But before we head down to dinner, I did want to let you know that I am still reading Soldier. I am alternate reading it. So I haven't re-listened to the audiobook yet, but I will be when I'm getting ready to head out to the park, you know, getting ready, putting my face on and stuff. But I'm about 25% in now. I'm reading an ebook copy, also borrowed from my library, and it's okay so far. Things where I stopped last night were just starting to heat up. There looks like there was going to be a confrontation, so that should be interesting to read tonight. I did bring my ebook, and then I also have the audiobook app on my phone. And so, yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to catch you up with for the beginning of my vacation vlog. Again, I'm not sure if this is going to be its own video or if it's going to be a separate video, but we'll see how much footage I have, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to head down to dinner now, and we'll catch up along the way. It is Thursday, April 17th. I haven't checked in a while, and that's just because there hasn't been much going on. So I haven't read anything, I haven't knitted anything since I talked to you last. I think I talked to you last on Monday night. We were going for some dim sum. We had dim sum. It was very expensive dim sum. I'd never eaten a Din Tai Fung before. And while it was good, I don't think it was worth as much as I paid for it. So we'll probably eat there again, a few select dishes, but yeah, definitely not like a restaurant place that we're going to be visiting regularly, but the food was good. Yesterday, we went to California Adventure. Oh, well, after dinner on Monday night, we went to Disneyland. And usually while we're here, we do a giant like food hop. So we went to Disneyland, we got snacks, and we just like leisurely spent our time. So there wasn't really much to share with you. And we're nighttime park goers, so we don't usually get up early and do the rope drop and everything like that. But anyway, yesterday we went to California Adventure. It's the last couple days of the Food and Wine Festival, I think. So we had some of the items there. I think I took a little clip of the food that we got. I think the best thing we had was the cherry pot de creme, which was like a cherry cobbler with custard. Very good. That was very good. The musubi spam rice was good, but it's not any better than anything that I can normally get like at home in Hawaii, or even that like my mom makes at home. So while it was good and definitely surprising, not something I'd repurchase. The Southwestern barbecue bao was the most disappointing thing. We could not even finish it. And so, yeah, very disappointing. But everything else we had yesterday was pretty good. We also had the lime parfait. That was very good. Very zesty. Like the gelatin part was very zesty. But the taste of the parfait on a whole was very good. What else did we have? Ribs? No, that was from Din Tai Fung.
We didn't have the macaroni.
The macaroni. We had steak and Gruyere macaroni and cheese. That was also very good. The steak was nice and tender. The macaroni and cheese was very good. So all in all, very good choices, but we have another day at California Adventure tomorrow, and I don't think we're going to be repurchasing anything that we had tried from the food stalls. So today we're back at Disneyland. We are in the Golden Horseshoe right now because we're having a little bit of a snack. So let me turn you around and I'll show you what we got. Okay, so we're at the Golden Horseshoe because they have Roy Rogers and Shirley Temples here. And so we got our drinks here, but we got this meat platter from Bengal Barbecue. This is something that we always like to get when we're here. This time we got the pork belly, we got the non-spicy beef, and then we got the bacon-wrapped asparagus. So this is something that we always get when we're here, at least once during our visits. Very, very good meat skewers. And so, yeah, I'm excited to try the Roy Rogers. I've had Shirley Temples growing up, but I've never had a Roy Rogers. So we are here in the Golden Horseshoe, and I haven't been in here in a very long time. So I'm going to try to pan real slow. So, yeah, it's really, really nice. I haven't been here since they stopped doing the shows. But yeah, so we are going to have a snack. We're probably going to take it leisurely again today, and I'll check back with you when I can.
Hi everyone, it is Saturday, April 19th. So as you can see, we are home from our vacation. I I don't know, I just wasn't inspired to pick up the camera and film while we were at the Disney parks this time. I think part of it was because I filmed a lot the last few times that we had gone, between the Disney World trip that we took a couple years ago and then the Disneyland vlog that I did, was it last year? We are pretty much routine when we go to the park. So we ride the same rides, we eat the same things, and so nothing was really different. And so, yeah, I didn't really feel inspired to share that with you. So I did do a little bit of merchandise purchasing, but we won't be sharing everything that I purchased with you today. However, I did want to share with you some of the mystery pin bags that we picked up, because I just really enjoy like the mystery bag aspect of it. We don't buy like every mystery bag, and I had even had a thought about maybe like, you know, just picking up a couple bags to like put together for my own like advent calendar this year. But there's not really a collection that I'm like really interested in collecting the whole collection. So we pretty much just look at the mystery stuff and see if there are characters that we really want. And so that's kind of what we did. There are a couple things here though that I would like to share with you that are not like mystery pins. So I did pick up this Pez container. It's been several years since I picked up a Pez container, but I had to pick this one up because it is the Hatbox Ghost from Haunted Mansion. And if you didn't know, I'm a super huge Haunted Mansion fan. Love that ride. Every time we go, I have to ride it. And so they came out with these Pez containers, the Hatbox Ghost, and it glows in the dark. So really wanted to pick that up. And then of course I got some Haunted Mansion pins. So I got the Hatbox Ghost and Madame Leota. So these are just regular pins. Now, when my daughter was little, we used to do pin trading at the parks. And it wasn't as big as it is now. And so, you know, there weren't like a lot of, I don't know, a lot of pressure to get like certain things and things like that. It was just really like a fun thing. Plus she was really little, so everyone was really nice and things. And as she started getting older, we started getting out of doing the pin trading and the pin collecting and things like that. And now they've got some really nice ones, and so I'm finding myself kind of drawn back into that pin trading. And I just like to look and see, you know, what's available and stuff, but I need to like build back up my pins that I can trade, so like duplicates or ones that I don't want, because we don't have anymore. And so yeah, we just have our collection of pins from when she was younger, and so now I'm starting to accumulate some other pins. But I do have some pin packs here. So we picked up this Hidden Disney mystery pouch, and when I asked the cast member about it, he led me to believe there are hidden Mickeys on the pins that are in this bag. I don't even know how many pins there are in here, but he had let me know that this was the first series of this pin, and that there was a new series that was recently released, and that like it's all the rage, like everybody's buying them up 10 packs at a time. I'm like, what makes it so special? And he didn't really know. And so we kind of looked for those new pin packs and we found them. So there, looks like this. So this is the first series and this is the second. And so we went ahead and picked up 2 bags. Now, I know there are YouTubers that do pin trading and things like that. I have stopped myself from watching their videos until we opened these up. The lady at one of the stores, the Emporium at Disneyland, had told us that 2 of the pins that people are usually getting out of these packs are Disney Ears and Cinderella's Castle. I think she said Cinderella's. She might have just said the castle. So I know that there are either ears or a castle available, but I don't know what the rest of the collection looks like. And so it's just a big surprise. So we've got 2 of these blue bag ones, and we've got 1 of the pink. And then we have this bag of ice cream collectible pin packs. And this one says each pack contains 5 randomly selected pins, and they all look like ice cream treats. And the reason we picked this one up is because there is a Baymax in this collection. So we do look for Baymax pins, and we like to pick up the collections that the Baymax pins are in. So I think if you watched our last Disneyland vlog, which I'll link in the description, we did open a couple. At least I think it was in there. I know one time we went, we had purchased a set, and we're looking for the Baymax in that set. And so pick this one up. And then Disney has this collection called the Munchlings, and they're like really cute renditions of the Disney characters as like treats. And so when we first saw this collection, we were in Disney World, and if you have watched the Disney World vacation vlogs, you saw that we had opened mystery like plush boxes, and we were actually looking for Baymax, and we did find him. This is the Baymax that we found. So it's a Baymax S'more. So I usually keep this guy here by my computer, and so yeah, so that's the Baymax S'more. And then they came out with pins. And apparently they've just been coming out with these series. So this is series 3. And I'm not sure what series we bought the last time, but it wasn't this one. And so in this one, there is another Baymax. And he kind of looks like an upside down thing of ice cream. But now that I'm looking at it, maybe he is a milkshake. Because it looks like he's got a straw coming out of his head, but I'm not sure. But in any case, we picked up 2 packs of that one. So I have my daughter over here to the side. She is not going to be on camera, but you might hear her voice. She's going to help me open these mystery packs, and then we'll share with you what we got in these bags. So daughter, what bag do you want to start with?
The popsicles.
Popsicles, okay. Do you want to open them, or do you want me to open them?
You're probably more stable.
Okay, I will open. This is the ice cream collectible pin pack. So this is what we're going to start with. And let's see what we got. So I'm just going to reach in and pull it out. So, oh, it's a flounder. So that is our first one. I think that's a Dalmatian. Yes, Dalmatian. I usually have my daughter pick these bags for us because she's got like the best luck. But we picked these ones up from Off the Page in California Adventure. And the mystery pin packs are like locked up. So you got to get an associate to get them for you. And the guy just took them off the wall. So we didn't have any choice. So we're kind of going by whatever luck he's given us. So third pin from the bag is a Goofy. I think? Mm-hmm. Yeah, a Goofy. Fourth pin from the bag is Baymax. We got our Baymax. Yay! So that's great. That's the one that we were looking for. So now we have that one. And then the last one in this bag is, oh, Mickey. It's your classic Mickey. So that's really great. We got the one that we wanted, so great luck there. Some of the other ones that are in this collection are Tinkerbell, the Cheshire Cat, Donald Duck. I think that might be a Tiana's dress. I'm not sure. Sully, Jack Skellington, Pluto, Minnie Mouse, Daisy Duck, Lilo, Tigger, and we got the rest of them. So yes, we had great luck with the ice cream pouches. So which one do you want to do next?
The munchlings.
Munchlings? Okay, you want to do both bags or you just want to do one?
Let's do one first.
Do you want to open?
No, you open up.
Do you want me to open the bag and then you pull them out and give them to me?
Are you feeling nervous?
I don't know.
I can pull them out if you're feeling nervous.
Do you want to? Okay, I'm going to let the daughter pull them out of the bag. I'm just going to open the bag. And then I'm going to hand the bag to her. And then she will hand them to me. I have my hand open like this. Okay. Pins, can you hand them to me with the stopper up so that I can...
Okay.
Okay.
I'm very confuzzled. I'm not sure who that is.
Okay, she says she doesn't know who it is. I'm not sure if you can hear her, but she says she doesn't know who it is. Let's take a look. Well, it looks like a hot dog.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a dog, I think. It's a dog dressed as a hot dog, but I don't know what dog that is. If you know what dog this is, let me know. I am a little bit out of touch with the more recent Disney movies because my daughter is not a child anymore. And so, yeah, there are several of the Disney animated movies that I have not watched. But I don't recognize this dog at all. So, there's a dog dressed up as a hot dog. So that's kind of like what the Munchlings are. They're all characters dressed up like treats or food items. Next, let's see who we got. This is a cat dressed up like a chicken sandwich. I'm not sure who that is either. And of course it doesn't say on the back. And you know what's interesting is I'm just looking at the back right now. And these ones, I don't know that you're actually going to be able to see because this camera doesn't really focus. But right here, there is a crystal Mickey on the back of the pin. Let me check this one. Oh yeah, this one has it too. So the Munchlings have that little crystal Mickey. The ice cream cones do not though. So it must be part of this Munchlings set. But yes, this is a cat dressed up like a chicken sandwich. Again, I don't know. That cat does not look familiar to me. So if you know who the cat is, let us know.
I'm getting even more confuzzled as we pull them out.
Okay, daughter says she doesn't know this one either. I don't either. This looks like gray stuff,
It does look like Christ.
but I don't know who that character is. I'm not sure. So, yeah, not recognizing these characters. Let me see. Yeah, the bag doesn't say who these are. Okay, next. Oh, that's Marie from the Aristocats as an ice cream sundae. Okay. This is the last one from this bag?
Yep.
Okay. And we have... That's Minnie Mouse dressed up as a breakfast bagel?
I think
I
so.
think so.
There's eggs and bacon in there.
Yeah, there's over easy eggs up here, bacon, and what looks like an omelet inside the bagel. Okay, so no Baymax in that collection. But 3 characters that I don't recognize. Again, we've got this what looks like gray stuff. We have the dog dressed up as a hot dog. And we have a cat dressed up like a chicken sandwich. So if you know who any of those characters are, let me know down in the comments below. Okay, so We have one more bag of Munchlings, or we have the mystery ones. You want to do the Munchlings one right now?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to open this bag for the daughter and hand it over. Okay. Oh, it's Flower dressed up as a Yule log. Flower from Bambi. I think that's a Yule log. Okay. We got the gray stuff again. So now we've got a duplicate that we can do some pin trading with. So that's great. Oh, daughter sounded confused. Oh, we've got another cat chicken sandwich. So that's another duplicate we can trade.
Yeah.
Oh.
The cast member did not pull through for us.
Oh, we've got three. The three that we don't know who they are. So those are trading ones. And this is the last one from the bag, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, we've got 4. So we only got one new one from that bag. So we've got 4 to trade now. So that's okay. We didn't get our Baymax though. So we're going to have to pick up more of those bags the next time that we go. So we did though get our Baymax frozen treat though. So that is great. So overall, not bad. Okay, so now we've got the mystery ones. So I think we're going to start with Series 1 first since we've only got one of those. We're going to open it up and hand it to the daughter. Is there only one pin inside or 2?
There are 2 bands.
There are 2. 2 pins in the pouch. So with the mystery ones, they usually put some kind of like cardboard thing so you can't like feel around outside of the bag to, you know, kind of figure out what's in there. Okay, first one. And this is the hidden Disney mystery pouch is what it's called. So this is Series 1. And it's an Avengers t-shirt. I am not familiar with the Avengers at all. So I don't know what character that is. But it's a green t-shirt. There's supposedly something hidden on it, which I don't see a hidden Mickey. I'm not quite sure why these are hidden. These are numbered though. So this one on the back of it says Hidden Disney Pin 2 of 5. Oh, you're not going to be able to see that. But these also have the crystals on the back. So yeah, it does say Marvel. Disney Pins 2024 on the back. But I don't know what character this is. So that is a green shirt with some kind of Marvel character logo on it. From the Avengers. You know what? Now that I know that some of them are numbered, let me check the other pins that we got. So the popsicle ones are not numbered. And the Munchlings ones are also not numbered. So only the hidden Disney pins are numbered of what we purchased. Okay, second one.
Exactly.
Oh, it's from Star Wars. Again, not very familiar with what things are called in Star Wars. I have seen the 6 movies. But if I remember correctly, this is that animal. Is this the animal that gets sliced open to keep them warm? And like I guess what's now called the 5th movie. I think it's the 5th. It was the 2nd movie when I watched it, but I think it's the 5th movie now. I think that's what it is. But I think they have popcorn buckets with this character now. In any case. Oh, it says it on the back. This one says it's a Tauntaun. So this one also has a number, but it's behind the thing. This also says Hidden Disney Pin 2 of 5. So there must be collections of within the hidden Disney pins. So this is 2 of 5 of the Star Wars pins must be. So let me look for that Avengers one again. It doesn't say. It just says Marvel. Let me pull out the stopper. No, the character name is not on it, but the character name is on this one. It says Tauntaun, and I'm pretty sure that's correct. Because I think that's what they said that the popcorn buckets that are being sold right now for like the Season of the Force are. So, yeah. Interesting. I figured I wouldn't be as familiar with some of the stuff that came out of these collections because I'm not as versed in like the whole of Disney stuff anymore. But yes, very interesting. Okay. Hidden Disney pouches for this year's collection. Right or left?
Right.
Right. So we're going to do this one. Again, I'm going to open the bag, hand it over to the daughter, and she will pull them out. Are there 2 in there also?
Oh, yes, but there's no paper. They individually wrap them in plastic.
Oh. She said the pins are not wrapped in paper in this bag. They're wrapped in plastic. It's plastic or it's bubble wrap?
It's plastic.
It's plastic.
It's black plastic.
Black plastic. So they double bagged.
Yes.
Huh.
This is a very interesting development. Oh,
Oh, daughter sounds intrigued.
this is an interesting one.
Okay, she has handed me the pen. So, let's see what it is. Oh, it's Angel from Lilo and Stitch. She is awfully cute. Okay, so this one, is it numbered? Yes, it says Hidden Disney Pin 3 of 5. So there must be 5 in the Lilo and Stitch collection for this year's release. She's cute. And she has a Mickey on her shoulder.
Oh, she does?
Right there. Yeah. See?
Oh.
I don't see hidden Mickeys on the other 2. So maybe hidden Mickeys weren't a thing for the first
But those
collection?
are also not like Disney. They were properties bought out by Disney.
Oh, I guess so.
So it's a possibility it's just for like Disney. Disney?
Yeah, maybe. Okay. Second pin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, daughter sounds intrigued again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. That looks like a Disney D with, oh, Oswald, yes. In my color, which is turquoise. And you've got your hidden Mickey right here. So this one, on the back it says Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. And it says Hidden Disney Pin 3 of 5. So again, there must be 5 in this collection. So we haven't gotten one of the ones that the associate did tell us are in these. She says most of the people get the Mickey ears or the castle. So that's really good. Really interested. We got one more mystery pack to go. So let's open this up, hand it to the daughter. I definitely think this collection is a little bit more successful for us because they're characters that we're more familiar with. But I'm sure there's probably Avengers or Marvel characters and Star Wars characters in this collection as well. Okay, daughter didn't give too much of a reaction with this one. So, let's take a look. Oh, it is a duplicate of Oswald. So, we've got another one to trade. That's good. Or, I don't know, maybe I'll keep that one since it is my color. So then daughter can have one, and then I can have one. And our last pin, tell me we got an exact same bag.
We did.
We did?
We did.
Oh my gosh, we got the exact same bag. So, okay. I will have you know that I bought those bags at 2 different days from 2 different stores. So it's just the luck of the draw with that one. But that's okay. Now we've got pins to trade. So next time we go, we will probably film some pin trading, which should be fun because I haven't done it in a while. We've seen a couple of boards up, but we haven't like traded in a long time, so we don't know like where the trading parts are. I know there is one YouTuber that has come across my feed that pretty much exclusively does pin trading videos, and so I'm probably gonna watch some of his videos and see where all the places to trade are. I know trading is a little bit different now too. Like I think there's some places where there's like a mystery box where you can like pick 2 boxes and you can only trade if it's one of the 2 that you've picked or things like that. Some of them, you know, cast members obviously will wear their lanyards, and some have the pin boards. I know in the lobby of the DVC villas there was a pin board, but I definitely wanted to film these openings for you, and I wanted to do it at the park, but everywhere that I wanted to set up to film, the music was just so loud and I didn't want to get any copyright strikes for that. But very, very happy with these. Even if we got some duplicates, that's okay. Like I said, part of the whole getting the mystery pin sets was so that we would have duplicates to be able to start trading again. So that's really fun. I'm really excited. We're definitely going to be picking up more pins in the future. And yeah, overall, the vacation was tiring. I didn't read or knit anything at all. So it's kind of got me thinking about the book that I'm in the middle of. I think I told you when I had started this vlog that I was reading Soldier, the 3rd book in the Talon Saga by Julie Kagawa. That one is about dragon shifters and this big like rebellion and things like that. And up until that point, I was about 25% in, and they were just like gonna get into a fight. I think what I'm gonna do is try to read through that next fight and see how I feel, because at this point right now I kind of feel like I want to DNF the audiobook. And with that, the entire series, it's just not grabbing me. And being that I haven't read in 5 days up until this point, is it 5? It's 6 days up until this point. That tells me, 1, I'm not really into the book that I'm into, and 2, that if I want to finish my Orilium classes, I need to change up my TBR. So this is the week before the manga club meeting. So, you know, I usually clear the decks to read the manga. In fact, one of the things that I need to read for the meeting is going to help with my Orilium Magical Readathon classes. So that's great. But I will need to fall back to the Dragon Goes House Hunting manga. I don't think I'm going to be able to finish the Cozy Mystery before the end of the month. And so I'll need to find a manga with a fruit on the cover, which shouldn't be that difficult. Hopefully, fingers crossed, so that I can make sure that I finish that class. And I think that is everything that I need to read for my classes. Let me just check real fast. I've got the list right here. So, fruit on the cover, I just told you I was going to try to find something. Dragon in the title cover story, I told you I was going to switch over probably to the Dragon Goes House Hunting manga. Steal a book from another TBR. I did finish the Cheerleaders book, but since I don't have it here at the computer desk, I will talk to you about that when I check in next week. So I did finish that. The Color Wheel is also a manga that I had picked, so I will read that. And then I finished my Conjuration book, which was the locational summons to read a book by an author in Denmark, because that is the country that I had chosen from the selections that I received from the spinner wheel. And then Restoration is to read something with a 4-star average rating, and that's going to be my Tokyo Revengers for the Monochrome Manga Club meeting. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 mangas that I need to read. So I'm going to fix my TBR so that I can make sure that I get all of that stuff done. I will also need to decide on an audiobook to listen to for my work week coming up. But yeah, usually when I get ready for the day is when I listen to my audiobook, and this time I just was listening to the television. I don't know if you realize, if you've watched my vacation vlogs, but we usually watch a lot of true crime when we're on vacation, because the TVs usually have like Oxygen or some other channel that has true crime on it. And so this time we had a lot of like Dateline and Snapped. Specifically Snapped Killer Couples, which we haven't actually watched. We do watch the Snapped TV show, but we haven't watched Killer Couples yet. But anyway, that's what was playing, Dateline and Snapped Killer Couples, and so we were watching a bunch of that. And I would just leave the TV on and listen to the cases while I was putting on my makeup. Some really interesting cases we watched, super like unbelievable types of things, and yeah, very interesting stuff. So I just was listening to that while I put my face on for the day and got ready instead of putting on my audiobook. So yeah, didn't knit anything because we were busy every day, out and about, out the parks, making the most of the time that we have. Like I said, we are nighttime park goers, so we don't do the early morning rope drop or anything like that. I prefer the parks at night, even though sometimes it can be a little bit more busy. When we went this time, the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, even though there were people and school groups, it wasn't as busy. Like the wait times got really low. One night we walked on to Haunted Mansion, like, and if you didn't know, a walk-on for Haunted Mansion is when Haunted Mansion posts a 13-minute wait time, which means you can basically walk on, and that's what we did. We walked straight into the elevator. It was really nice. Enjoyed that. Wait times got really, really low. But this last night on Friday, I mean, obviously it's a Friday night, and so it did get a little bit busier. But all in all, it was an enjoyable vacation. I will say the Disneyland Villas, the Discovery Tower for the DVC, is not my favorite of the Disney parks hotels that we've stayed at. I would much prefer to spend my points at the Grand Californian. There were just some things at the Disneyland Villas that, I don't know, it's like it's a new tower, so there shouldn't be so many problems. But this time, well, I should go back and say last time we had a Sleeping Beauty room, like I said, and the artwork above the bed lit up. I'm not sure if the artwork lit up this time, but it did the last time, and it would like just crack. There are loud cracks all through the day and night, just for what seems like no reason. It was a little bit scary, so there was that issue. This time we had a whole host of issues. So one of the things was that when we had checked into our room, there was no room occupied signs. We had to get one of those. The remote control, only the up and down buttons worked for the television, so we had to get that replaced. The thermostat just wouldn't get down. It was really weird because this week at the parks, it wasn't very hot, but in our room, it was hot. Even if we had set it to like 65 to just try to get the temperatures down. And then some nights it was like super cold, and other nights it was just hot. So I don't know, there was something weird going on with that. And then the microwave that we were supplied with, because it was a DVC room, it kept getting off track. So the little table that has the wheels on it, there was no runner. So unless your food item was exactly in the middle of the dish, it would like clunk around. And so, yeah, and make a lot of noise. And so it wasn't the most relaxing experience at the hotel. And I definitely kind of feel like for the price that you're paying, even though we use points because we're DVC members, as somebody who would be paying cash, I don't think that I would spend my money to stay at the Disneyland Hotel versus the Grand Californian. Now I know the Grand Californian is a more upscale hotel, but every time I've stayed there, I've had a really great experience. And maybe that comes with the price point of the hotel. I haven't actually stayed at the Pixar Place Hotel because I don't believe we can use points there. But we did stay when it was Paradise, the previous rendition of Paradise Pier Hotel. And we weren't DVC members at the time, but we have stayed there a couple of times and enjoyed it. So I'm kind of curious to see what I think of the new Pixar Place Hotel. I have seen YouTubers like talk about their experience staying there. And it seems like it was enjoyable. So yeah, but I don't know for sure if we can use our points there, but I don't think we can. But in any case, I enjoyed our time. We had a lot of good food. We had, really enjoyable rides, and we picked up some merch, and I'm enjoying getting back into the pin stuff. So it was fun, but it's back to the grindstone on Monday. And so, yeah, I just wanted to check in, kind of wrap up my vacation with you, let you know where I was with my reading and my knitting, share my pin haul, and then I will check back in with you next week, Saturday, to let you know where my reading's at again, where my knitting's at, and let you know how my week back at work went. So until then, I will talk to you later. Hi everyone, it is Saturday, April 26th, and I'm here to film the last part of my diary entry for you today. So I don't have too much to share with you apart from what I've been reading. There have been next to nothing knitting updates. I do have one project that I will share with you, but it's not that much knitting. And then I have all of the things that I've read that I will share with you today. So let's just get into it. We'll do a little bit of like life chat at the end as well as per usual. So we had our Monochrome Manga Club meeting on Thursday, and so I had told you, I think the last time I checked in with you, that I was going to be reading the selections, and so I did. I just finished filming my series first impressions video for our 2 first in a series selections. And so I talked about Creepy Cat Volume 1 by Cotton Valent. This one's published by 7 Seas, rated ages 10 plus. And Volume 1 of the Spellbook Library by Uta Isaki. This one's published by Kodansha, rated teen. So if you want to hear my thoughts on both of these selections, you can check out my series first impressions video, which is linked down in the description box below. But we also have been continuing reading our series selections, and so we'll just go ahead and talk about Tokyo Revengers, volumes 13 and 14 by Ken Wakui. This one's published by 7 Seas, rated older teen, so this is about a guy named Takemichi who, when he's in his mid-20s, finds out that his girlfriend from middle school had been murdered by a gang that he used to know. And he finds, after an accident, that he ends up having the ability to time travel back to when he was a middle schooler, and then realizes he has the opportunity to try to prevent his girlfriend from being killed in the future. And so we follow him kind of jumping back and forth between time to make changes in the timeline and hopefully prevent his girlfriend from being killed in the future. It's a really interesting story. I've enjoyed what I've read of this series so far. This volume probably had the worst outcome up to date of what I've read so far in this series. It's really interesting to see, like, him trying to decide what he can change to try to prevent, his girlfriend from being murdered, and how he comes to those decisions, and then, finding out how the changes that he has made has changed what happens in the future. Just really interesting stuff. And like I said, probably the worst outcome that we've had so far. So I'm interested to see how the story is going to continue, how what he plans to do now will have an effect on the future and things like that. So really looking forward to reading volumes 15 and 16 in May. So really, really good. I gave that one 4 stars. And then we continued with Haikyu, volume 16, 17, and 18. So if you've watched the anime, I'm sure you know where we are. We are doing the Obajosai games, and we started the Shiratorizawa match. So that's like 2nd season and 3rd season of the anime. Really, really enjoy the series about a boys volleyball team who their school team used to be like at the top many years ago, and they've kind of fallen through the ranks. But this year, with the incoming freshmen that they have just acquired, they make a play to try to get back to the top. Really, really good story. Lots of good gameplay. Lots of character growth. Really enjoy the series. I know this is one of my favorite series, and this is my 2nd read-through of this series. Still really enjoying it. Like, I don't think I can get enough of this series. I could probably read this series over and over and over again. We have watched the anime over and over and over again. And so, yes, really, really enjoyed the series. Gave all of these 5 stars. And looking forward to reading more about the Shiratorizawa match in the May selections or volumes. And so that is all of the Monochrome Manga Club selections. And the rest of what I have here, I have read for the Orilium Magical Readathon. So as you know, I am going for my last term in Master of Elements. I am part of the Order of the Crescent. And I had to make a quick detour on my selections that I had set for my TBR because I had that vacation week and I didn't really read. And then the audiobook that I was reading, Soldier by Julie Kagawa, which is the 3rd installment in the Talon Saga, I did end up deciding to DNF. I have a prompt here for reading something with a dragon in the title, cover, or story, and that story is about dragon shifters. It's for my class Shapeshifting. I had told you last time that I was probably going to read a little bit more because it looks like they had just gotten into a situation. I wanted to see how that came out. I just never picked up the book again. I wasn't that interested in getting back to that story, and that tells me that I'm really not interested in reading that. So I've decided to DNF that installment, which means I've also decided to DNF the series. So because I had done that, I needed to read something else for the dragon shifter or the prompt for shape-shifting. And I decided to go ahead with my first selection that I had read, or that I had said that I was going to read for my TBR, and that is Dragon Goes House Hunting Volume 1. This is story by Kawo Tanuki and art by Choko Aya. This one's published by 7 Seas Rated Teen. So this story is about our dragon here on the cover, and he gets kicked out of his house. His family got really angry with him because he literally fell asleep on the job. So he's out and about and doesn't know what he's going to do, and then comes up with this brilliant idea that he wants to have a home of his own. The only problem is he's not very, like, learned in the world, and he is also very much a scaredy cat. So he finds himself in lots of situations that are not very good for him when he stumbles upon this guy who is an architect, a very kind of famous architect who is known to be able to build very beautiful homes. And he strikes up a deal with this guy and kind of goes on his quest to find himself the perfect home. And so, yeah, I read this one last night. It's okay. The dragon is a bit too much of a scaredy cat for me. Too much, like, reactiveness to certain things. And you know that I don't particularly care for characters that are too over the top and reactive. And just the whole, like, thing about this dragon being this big, like, creature that everyone seems to be afraid of, yet he is the most scaredy cat type of character. It was okay. I mean, there were definitely some heartwarming moments. I don't know what else to say about this, really. It was just an okay story. I think I'm going to give this one 3 stars. I do have the second volume, so maybe that volume will be a little bit better for me. But probably if I hadn't had that second volume, I probably would have stopped here. But I do have the second volume. I will read it. But this one was just okay. So 3 stars for that. I finished my shapeshifting class. So that gives me 2 of my classes done. I forgot to mention that Tokyo Revengers, volumes 13 and 14, also was for my restoration class, which was to read a 4-star average rating thing or higher. This one has a higher than a 4-star average rating on Goodreads. So that's my restoration class. So that's 3 out of 6 classes. Then I had astronomy, which was to do a color wheel prompt, and I had gotten Lime for the color wheel. So I had read volume 1 of The Guy She Was Interested In Wasn't a Guy at All. This one is by Sumiko Arai, published by Yan Press, rated teen. So this follows a girl who really likes a certain genre of music, but none of her other friends are into that genre of music. And she happens across a CD store who is playing the type of music that she enjoys. And so she goes in and is immediately captivated by the worker there. It turns out that that worker is not a guy and is actually one of her classmates, but she doesn't know that. She begins to, like, go to the CD store and try to get to know this person more. But the worker does know that the girl is one of her classmates. And so it's kind of a little bit awkward. It's definitely interesting. Like, the talk about music that they have between each other is really good. It's really, like, entertaining. I know the artists that they're talking about, and I don't know if the artists that were put into this translation were the actual artists that were from the original raw manga, because there are a lot of non-Japanese, let's just say, groups talked about as far as the types of music that this girl likes. And so I really enjoyed this one. I enjoyed the art style as well. It's very, very good. The volume keeps this lime theme throughout. So even in the panels, it's black, white, and lime. Let me try to flip to the very front page so that you can see. So yeah, black, white, and lime. And I just find that to elevate my reading experience. And it just gives a little bit of extra. I don't know. It just really enhanced my reading of this. And I thought this was a very good volume. And I will definitely be continuing with this one. I enjoy the talk about the music. Not necessarily the groups that I listen to a lot, but I'm familiar with the groups that are mentioned. and I know some of their catalog at least, so I can connect in that way. And I enjoyed the communication between our two characters, and yeah, just really, really enjoyable. Definitely will be continuing with that one. So that is another class done. So that's what, 4 classes. And then I did another class, and that was to read a book from somebody else's TBR. So that's for animal studies. And so I had picked up R.L. Stine's Cheerleaders, The First Evil. This is the first book in the Cheerleaders trilogy. This is part of the Fear Street collection. And I had stolen this off of the Slime and Slashers TBR because they're doing Old School April. They're, I believe, the creator of Old School April. And they had a lot of like R.L. Stine books that I had written down as possible selections for me. And they had mentioned that they would possibly be reading the Cheerleaders trilogy throughout Old School April. I haven't actually checked to see if this was one of the books that they have read already this month, but I definitely had this one, so I pulled it out for this prompt. I think I had mentioned that I wasn't sure if I had read this one, but I was pretty sure I did because this is my original copy from when I was a kid. But by the end of this book, I definitely remember what had happened, and so that part of the story was definitely something that I remembered. Prior to like the whole kind of culmination of this book, I did not remember anything. So it was a really interesting read. This one follows 2 sisters who have moved into a house on Fear Street, and they were cheerleaders at their previous school. And at their previous school, the cheerleading team had won like competitions, and they're pretty well known. And so these 2 girls joining the school, the local school, was kind of like a boon for them because they have never gotten to that type of like level. And so when the girls start at their new school, there's a little bit of animosity from the cheerleaders because they have already had their tryouts. They already have their lineup set for this upcoming season. But obviously having these 2 girls would probably help them in their season. And so the coach allows them to audition, and they're actually accepted onto the team by the coach. And so that kind of pits the girls against each other. But as they're on their way to one of their competitions, they end up having to turn around because one of the girls, one of the sisters, had forgotten something at home. And when that happens, an accident occurs, and the team captain gets thrown out of the bus. At first they think she died, but she wakes up and it seems like everything is fine. But then things start to happen to the girls, the sisters specifically. So it's kind of a question of who's doing this to them and what the heck is going on. There's some weird things going on, and they don't know who to talk to because they think it might be one of the cheerleaders who are upset with them. And there's just a lot of other things going on. Definitely has that Fear Street like feel, though I don't know why you would move on to Fear Street, but I guess if you don't know, right? Really, really entertaining read. I enjoyed it. I think I gave this one 4 stars. And I'm hoping to read the rest of the trilogy rather soon because I do have the other 2 volumes. Interestingly enough, I had watched Cameron Chaney's 3-hour something reading vlog, reading through Fear Street books. And I think the Cheerleaders trilogy was towards the end of that reading vlog. And so I am even more interested in continuing to read this series, but it's been really nice like picking these up and like reviewing what I think of these books that I used to like when I was a kid or like a early teen. I've noticed that some of them obviously don't land the same because I am older. I've had experiences, and things like that. But some of them are really, really interesting, and I'm finding them very entertaining, and this was one of those. So, really enjoyed that. I think I gave it 4 stars. And so, yeah, that takes care of 5 of my 6 classes. So, my 6th class that I need to complete before the end of the month is for Elemental Studies, which is for Fruit on the cover. And I had originally thought that I was going to read a cozy mystery for this. But because I lost a week and some of reading, I needed to find something else that I would be able to finish before the month is over. The cozy mystery that I had picked does not have an audiobook that's available for me. So I had to find something else to read. I ended up pulling a manga. So I will be reading a manga to fulfill this selection, and I'll be reading it tonight, but I won't be able to talk to you about it until the next time I talk to you, so it's going to be in a couple weeks from now. But I do intend on reading that this evening, and so I should be able to finish all of my prompts for Orilium with plenty of time. So that is great. This whole thing about having to read things before certain time frames and things, it's really starting to get on my nerves. I don't know if it's just where I am in my life, if it's the things that are going on in my life right now, but I kind of really got irritated this month participating in Orilium. I enjoy this readathon usually, and I don't know if it's because I just came off of March Mystery Madness, which I usually enjoy as well, but I think that things have been really stressful for me lately. There's lots of things going on with my job that leave things really uncertain, and I think all of that are just compounding on my hobbies and my enjoyment of those, and just little things like, oh, you need to finish this by the end of the month is really starting to grate on my nerves. So that's kind of another reason why I'm trying to step back from readathons, but at the same time, I see all of these readathons going on, and I'm just so interested in them, but I know that putting that pressure on me to finish things by the time the readathon is over is gonna grate on my nerves. So I think I really need to step back even more now. I had seen, I think Clear Your Shelf or something, or TBR something, readathon that's happening in the first full week of May that I thought sounded really interesting. And obviously I've got lots of series and things that I need to read, but it's only a week-long readathon, and so it's not something that I can even foresee myself reading more than one thing for, unless it was a manga, because I have a full-time job. I am a mom. I have a mom that I need to take care of, and lots of other things going on in my life. I just don't have the time to be able to dedicate hours and hours and hours a day to reading. And so, yeah, I think it's just where I am in my life. I think I'm just maybe too old now. Whereas, when I was younger, in my years when my daughter was younger and I had a little bit more time and things like that, and life was a little bit easier, I had more time to read and more want to read. Whereas now I don't have that much of a want to read at the moment. And so, yeah, picking up things that are really quick and easy, like a volume of manga, is kind of where I'm at right now. Just gives me a little bit of enjoyment. It also is a better, shot for me at enjoyment, because I normally don't pick up manga volumes that I don't think that I'm going to enjoy unless it's for the Monochrome Manga Club, which is kind of an odd, thing. Because I'm wanting to have my members read a wide variety of things, or if it's for a readathon. And normally when I'm picking stuff to read for a readathon, I find that I'm not enjoying those things as much as I would if I wasn't having to fit things in to match certain prompts. So yeah, I kind of talked to you about that before too, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. Reading isn't very enjoyable for me, though I have enjoyed quite a few things that I've read recently, like Haikyu, like Tokyo Revengers, like the guy she was interested in wasn't a guy at all, and like the Spellbook library, which is kind of a spoiler for that first impressions video, like the first Evil. It's very nostalgic for me though, and like I said, it was a reread, so it's not really a like new pickup, but I enjoyed this as well. But yeah, kind of where I'm at right now. I did have to pick up another audiobook because I DNF'd Soldier, so I decided to go ahead and listen to the second installment in the Zodiac Academy series by Suzanne Valenti and Caroline Peckham. This is what I was told was a bully romance series. I read the first book, I think, in 2024, about two twins who have magical abilities, but they had no idea until somebody comes to collect them to go to the Zodiac Academy, and then they find out that they're the lost heirs to the throne, but there are a faction of people who don't want them back. And so they get bullied a lot. And so the first book had a lot of good mysterious elements to it. The bullying was very childish. I mean, these girls are out of high school already, so some of the things that happened in the school I didn't really enjoy. I wanted to see what I thought of the second book, and since I had an audiobook slot available and my library had the dramatized adaptation version, I decided to go ahead and check it out. The dramatized adaptation versions are done by Graphic Audio. I know they've done a lot of dramatic adaptations of other series like the Crave series by Tracy Wolff, the Guitar series by Sarah J. Maas. I think the Vampire Huntress series by Jacqueline Frost also have dramatic adaptations, but I have never listened to any of them until this one. So the dramatized adaptations of the audiobooks are full cast audiobooks. They also come with music, background sounds, and like ambiance noise and things like that. And so it's kind of like you're listening to a movie without being able to watch it. I think for myself, these dramatized adaptation versions of the audiobooks are better to be listened to after you've experienced the original the first time. I'm finding that I'm not enjoying all of the music and the ambiance and the, like, I don't know, there's a lot of like jeering because, you know, there are people who do not want these girls to be at this school, so they're still trying to push them out, right? And so, yeah. This audiobook, like, experience is not as good as I think it would be if it was just like a normal audiobook without all of the ambiance and the background noise and the other things going on with the cast. I do believe there is an audiobook version that's only 2 narrators without any of the dramatic stuff. And I'm kind of wondering if that's a better listening experience for me. But so far, I am enjoying the story of what's going on in this installment more than I did in the first one. There seems to be less bullying. There are still like lots of snide comments. The bullying seems to have backed off a bit, and the girls are much more feistier in this installment. They're actually doing things to try to get back at people for what they had done to them in the first book, and I'm enjoying that quite a bit. So it's very entertaining. I'm finding that my interest in reading has been pulled to more of those types of books where there are there's supernatural fantasy kind of series where you have lots of different types of creatures. So it's not just following vampires or you're just following werewolves. There's vampires, there's werewolves, there are nymphs and dragons and, you know, all different types of creatures that come together. That's the kind of story I like, I'm finding. And I think that's why the Crave series works so well for me, because that's what it is. You've got a lot of different types of creatures, all friends with each other, all working towards a goal. In this one, there's not so much a goal right now. It's just the two girls basically versus the entire world that they're in right now. But it's still really interesting. And, you know, there's lots of creatures that you don't usually see. Like, we just got introduced to a Cerberus. And so, yeah, really interesting. I'm definitely enjoying this story in this installment a lot more than the first one. And I'm looking forward to continuing with that one. I am about 30% in so far, though. And so, yeah, we'll definitely be continuing with that audiobook next week. But as far as like physical books as to what I'm planning to read next, I have really no idea. There is nothing really pulling me at the moment. I feel like I should work on my series list, but at the same time, like I said, there's nothing really like saying, oh my gosh, I think I want to read this next to me at the moment. Not even like any manga that I can think of. And so, yeah, it's kind of where I'm at the moment. So that is it for my reading update. Like I said, I do have a small Yarnie update. So I guess it's time to do another Yarnie update. Okay, so the last project that I worked on was actually the one in this bag. So this is my Nutcracker bag from Stitch in the High Notes. She's no longer producing bags, but really enjoyed her bags when I could get them. I think this was my third bag from her. But in this is my daughter's Something Stretchy. So the pattern that I'm using, or Something Squishy, I'm sorry. The pattern that I'm using for this sweater is the Lagoon pattern by Drops Design. It is a free pattern on their website. We are doing the men's version of this pattern because there is a women's and men's. We're doing the men's and we're doing the men's small. I am doing this sweater in Karen Big Cakes, which is a acrylic yarn. So it kind of looks like this. Karen Big Cakes in the Nightberry colorway. And so I am on my second cake of this yarn. I believe I have 3 cakes. So I have 1 cake left. And this is what we've got. So it is a brioche sweater. The pattern says it's English rib, but in looking at how the stitch is created, it is what I know as brioche. That was the back. This is the front. So, down here where the Triceratops is where I was last. And so I've only done this much. I actually stitched these rows right before we went on vacation. So I haven't touched any knitting since this. So that was 2 weeks ago. It was 2 weeks ago. It was the last time I knit. And I don't know. That day I just was like, oh, let me just work on this. I don't know why this called to me, but it did. And so, yeah. I did take my Little Muppet sweater, Little Muppet socks with me on vacation. And I also took the Slip Stravaganza with me on vacation. I did not stitch one stitch while I was on vacation. And I think about picking those projects up, but I don't have enough want to pick them up. I don't know. There's definitely something going on with me. I have a feeling that my whole like block with knitting at the moment has to do with the fact that I know I need to work on my slip extravaganza because I need the yarn for a different project, but I don't want to use that yarn for the project before I finish the slip extravaganza, and I don't really want to work on the slip extravaganza. Yeah. So I feel like if I'm not going to work on the slip extravaganza, then I shouldn't be working on anything at all. I think that's what my block is. There's also the Little Muppets socks where I'm like, oh, maybe I'll stitch on that instead. And I don't really have a want to work on that. I don't really have a pull to work on any of the projects that I already have on the needles. So now I'm kind of thinking, well, maybe I should just cast on something new, and maybe that will jumpstart my like knitting mojo again. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, if I do that, what do I cast on? I don't have like anything in mind that I really want to work on. And so I'm just kind of in a block right now. And I don't want to just pick something up and just like be all like, okay, just work on it. Because I think that'll take the joy out of it for me. But yeah, I just don't know. I have lots of things that I could work on, but none of them are like calling me, and it's just a bit frustrating. But again, I think that has to do with what's going on in my life. And so, yeah, at least I worked a little bit on this. I put a few more rows in it. I think I've got a couple more inches on this to go before we do the ribbing. But this marker right here on the front, oh, am I on the wrong side again? No, I'm not. This marker right here on the front is where they told us to measure from for the end, and it said 12 inches, and I think I've got like 2 more inches to go the last time I measured it. So yeah, so far so good. I mean, it's really squishy. It took a little bit for me to kind of remember how to do the stitches because I had put this away for a little bit, and I think I had mentioned to you before when I was working on this exclusively that I thought I might have a problem if I stopped knitting on it, and I did have a little bit, but I was easily able to get back into the rhythm of working the brioche stitch, so that was great. So yeah, I will say I'm not really looking forward to doing the sleeves because of the whole like trying to match up the striping. But I'm going to try to get as close as I can. But we'll just have to see. Because you know the Karen cakes are all dyed a little bit differently. You can see that within this cake that the stripes are all different sizes. And then somewhere in here I started the new cake. But tried to make sure that I kept the color repeats the same. But you can see that even like here it's a super thin stripe. And then it's a little bit thicker as it goes thin again, and then a little bit thicker. So I think no matter what I do, the sleeve is not going to match as much as I would like it to, especially because we're talking smaller circumference versus large circumference. But it just is what it is because of the way the yarn is. So yeah, I'm going to keep this one out because it is a relatively easy stitch to work on, but I just not having the want to knit at the moment, and it's kind of really irritating me because I want to do something. And I just don't know what. So that's kind of where I'm at with my knitting. Hopefully by the next time I talk to you, I'll have thought up something But right now I'm kind of stuck. So yeah, I guess with that we will go into what's going on recently. So I was back to work this week. And I think I had told you before that, my coworker is retiring, and so now everything's kind of up in the air. I kind of always thought that, when she retired, that the only thing for me to do would be to slide into her position, which is a change in what I do. It would be doing a different position, something that I know how to do, but I just don't, it's not in like an everyday type of thing in what I do, but I know how to do most of what she does. And so I thought, that's what it's going to be. I'm going to change jobs, right? I'm going to slide into her position. Apparently that's not what's happening. So this week I found out that they're actually changing like the whole kind of department setup of the company that I now work for, and they're actually creating a team that specializes in what I do now. And so I was asked to apply for that team. And so I did, thinking that it was just going to be a lateral move because they're like, oh, we just need you to confirm your interest. Just fill out this application to confirm your interest. Well, now I'm really confused because now I have an interview for the position on Tuesday. And I am someone who is not a great test taker, nor am I a great interviewer. And the last time I interviewed, it wasn't really an interview, and it was over 20 years ago. I mean, it was basically just a conversation saying, do you think you could do this? And it was for a receptionist job, and basically digitizing paper files to electronics. And I was just like, yeah, I think I can. And I was hired. Like, there wasn't really an interview. But I was also interviewing for a small business. And so, yeah, if we want to talk about interviewing for a large corpo, the last time I did that was 30 years ago, maybe. And in those types of settings, I don't do well. I get very anxious. I get very nervous. I don't test well either. Even though I know all of the material, there's something about the testing environment that I figured out exactly why I don't test well. So I know how to like curb that if I can. But yeah, testing and interviewing are not two of my fortes. So now I've got an interview on Tuesday that I'm not really looking forward to because I'm like, I don't understand. I don't understand this should be a lateral move. Basically, the job description is exactly what I do. So I already work for the company, so why am I having to interview for the same company? And so, yeah, it's a big mess. It's causing a lot of confusion. They haven't found a replacement for my coworker, and now we have 4. We have 4 weeks until she leaves. So, yeah, it's getting a little bit harrowing. But that whole situation might be why I'm having such an issue with my hobbies at the moment, because I literally cannot stop like the what ifs going on in my mind. What happens if this? What happens if that? What happens if I interview on Tuesday and they don't want me for that position? Then where am I at? Like, I'm not even being considered to take over my coworker's job, but does that mean I just get downsized out? I have no idea. And it's really bothering me. And I think that's the big reason why I'm not like finding enjoyment in a lot of the stuff that I normally do find enjoyment in. And so, yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on with my professional life. There's nothing really going on, like, outside of the professional life. It rained. It rained last night and early this morning. So I guess that's something to be happy about, because I really love my rain. But it's going to start getting hot this week. So that's not, that's not happy stuff. I don't know. I'm just kind of in a big funk, I think. And, it is what it is. Hopefully, by the end of this coming week, I'll have a little bit more security in my feelings for my job and where we're going. And hopefully they'll have somebody to start working with us to fill in for when my coworker leaves. Because, there has to be a transition period. We have customers that have known us for such a long time. And that's another thing that's kind of eating on me, is that I've worked with these people for such a long time. And what happens if both me and my coworker vacate? I mean, I don't know. And because we work for such a big corporation now, and it's not like the small business that we used to work for, who got bought by this big business, we're little fish now in a big ocean, and we're not entitled to certain information. And so with people not telling us certain things, it's just really an uneasy situation. So hopefully in the next week I'll feel a little bit more settled. I'll know exactly what's going on with my job, and things will be more concrete for me. And I think maybe then I will feel a little bit better and inspired to do things. But for right now, I'm just feeling very uneasy. I'm feeling like I don't know what's going on, and it's affecting my hobbies. And so I think that's pretty much all I have to share. I mean, I'm sure we all go through stuff like this every once in a while. It's been quite a long time since I've been in this much of a, I guess you would call it a crisis. I can laugh about it, but I do feel like it's a crisis a little bit. And so, yeah, just trying to take it one day at a time. It has just started raining again, and so I'm hearing those lovely sounds. And so with that, I think I'm going to wrap it up here for today. So I hope you enjoyed going with me to the Disneyland Resort, opening some mystery pin packs. I think that's going to be something that's going to be something that I share on the channel every once in a while whenever we head towards the parks. Because I'm hoping that it's going to be a fun thing for us to do again. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed doing that with us and hearing what I've been up to, what I've been reading, what I've been working on lately. So with that being said, let me know down in the comments below what you've been reading, what you've been working on, what you've been up to lately. I would really love to know. Have you seen any movies lately? What TV shows are you watching? And if nothing else, and you'd just like to let me know that you were here, if you could leave me, I don't know, an ice cream emoji down in the comments below, that would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.